It Works Global. This is going in my 16th year full time, and I'm the former senior vice president of a major bank, and just got really sick and tired of being gone. Robin and I have been together, my wife, for 39 years. I got two wonderful little girls. I just got tired of being gone from away from her and my two kids. And she actually showed me this rap thing, and I thought it was the craziest thing I ever saw. I played ball at Georgia Tech a bunch of years ago, and I thought you had to really work hard. I didn't realize we were dealing with the scientific breakthrough of the century. And then I did my due diligence on this applicator, but more than that, I did it on Mark. And what he had going, what his visions was. I talked to him almost every day for 7.5 months. And I found out that this applicator was very consistent. The first rap party Robin had for Pam, we had 23 people at our home. Everybody had major results. And that's what really kind of turned me around. And I said, wow, I just saw a product that gave instant gratification without changing lifestyle. And I knew John Q. Public would want that product. Because, gosh, nobody wants to work hard if you don't have to. And I knew if I took a product like that and really worked hard, that we could actually change something. So, but 7.5 months, I did my due diligence on it. But most of it was about Mark. I wanted to know who I was getting in business with. I know what he did. I know what he wanted to do. But where we aligned up is I know why he done it. Our why's aligned. And his why was to be free and have more time with his family. But my why was exactly the same thing. And that's the reason we don't say we're like family at It Works. We are family. And you can be like anything. But when you become a part of something, that bonds you to it. And Mark and I have been best friends for all these years. But there's one thing we agreed on back in the early days. I would never be his yes man. And I would always just shoot straight from the hip. And that's exactly what I've done because I have a very strong corporate background in banking. I did corporate takeovers, mergers, and acquisitions. And that's not the easiest job in the world. And but I was very custom fit to do it. And for where I come from, I was born on a farm in Virginia. I'm the fourth generation firstborn. And there's a lot expected out of the firstborn in a mountain type family. And so I've just been used to taking the leadership role and running with it. That's what they expected us to do. And a lot of what I did was mental conditioning back when I was a kid. And I didn't even realize my grandfather was mentally conditioning me for success later in life. And, that's what I attribute all these years with Mark. Has it been easy? Hell no, it ain't been easy. Has it been worth it? Hell yeah, it's been worth it. Because for 16 years, I've not woke up on an alarm clock. And I knew if I'd come after it and give everything I had with passion and conviction, it didn't matter what everybody else did, that this thing would work. And it has. I have a 8-figure business. I have with customers and reps of almost 700,000 people in our organization. And of course, I have a strong customer base, and we work very hard, but we work very consistent. I don't know where you are tonight, but you're definitely, if you're on the Zoom, it's the right place. And I want to give you, I'm a published author. I just currently got my master's degree. I'm a 2-time master with John Maxwell, and It Works is my baby. It's my source of income. It's my source of financial freedom. It's my source of not waking up by the alarm clock. And, anything worth having if you become a 7-figure earner is you got to work for it. Tell me, who do you know now that earns strong 6 or 7 figures that don't give it everything they got against all adversity and all odds? You just go get it. And that's what separates the followers from the leaders. And I want to ask each one of you a question. How many of you got kids? Got children? Are your children leaders? Did they change you when they were born? Absolutely they did. You adapted to that child, so you were born a leader. So you have absolutely no excuse to become weak. You become weak when you follow broke people and people that don't, is not committed to anything. So make up your mind that you're going to be a finisher and you're going to stop starting over. I know we've had some people to leave and that, but every good, strong body needs a good bowel movement. That's exactly the way I look at it. And, I want to go back and tell you a couple things about my life and why I posture myself with Mr. Pentecost. And I am a true lifer. I've been here longer than everybody. I ain't going nowhere. I've been here the 16 years, but I'm not excited, Shelly, about the last 16 years. I'm just not. I'm going to be very open and honest with you tonight about where I think we're going and why I think we're going to go there. Because I'm more excited about the next 16 years than I was the previous 16 years. Because, you know, if you'll look back at the stock market the last 4 years, it's just been shitty as hell. And that's not a joke. And if that hurts your feelings, I'm sorry. This is a real world. You know, go tell your people that you buy your groceries from that are you know, they're not going to care about your situation. All they want is to get paid. And I want you guys to get paid. And so when you inflate a market, and this is coming from my corporate banking background, when you inflate the market, what happens? It has to be paid for. Inflation will always be paid for, but sooner or later, it automatically comes around by nature. It will correct itself. This past year, the market started correcting itself on Wall Street. My broker, financial planners, told me I ended up with 20.2% earned on Rob. Wasn't that what he told us on our investments for a total year? That's the biggest we've ever had. This year promised to be 2018 bigger than before. So this is what happened with It Works Global. And I've told a lot of the young kids and, you know, the ones that think they know everybody, God dang, and don't know nothing. They hadn't quit wetting the bed long enough to really have any life experience. I said, if you inflate your damn business, you're going to pay for it. If you stack in place and you do that to trip the coding money, you create an inflation. That's like living on credit cards. Sooner or later, the credit card bill comes due, and if you can't pay it, they're going to decline your credit. And, you know, they took the elevator to success. Everybody wants to jump in the elevator and push penthouse and get off at the top and just grin like hell. You know, I did it. You got your 15 minutes of fame. But what you did is you built a sandcastle. Now, Shelly and I have been on the islands long enough playing in the last several years. We've seen the ocean come in on the islands and wash the sandcastles away. They look really pretty on the outside, but they have no stability on the inside. So, one, you don't have enough experience to handle a business once it grows to that magnitude when you're inflating the business, and you don't have enough maturity to handle it. So, no experience, no maturity, because you didn't grow your business, you inflated it. And so you have a false pretense there that you think that you're going to make you safe. Now, when you climb the ladder to success and you build a business like I built mine, and I never once could bring myself to inflate my business. I wanted something real I could depend on because I know about numbers. And so they're always going to correct itself. I don't care how you do it. If you do it, build it tight and build. And if you've heard Mark at some of the one-team missions, he mentions my name. And he says, do like he did, build it tight, build it right. It is a slower go, but it lasts for a very long time. And so build it tight, build it right. This is what happens. You climb the ladder to success. And every time you take another step climbing the ladder, you build integrity and you build character. People that inflate their business has no integrity and they don't have any character. It's all about their check. And I had one little girl in my organization that quit. All I could hear her talking about, she's a triple diamond. She said, my money, my money, my money. I said, that's the reason you ain't growing, is because you worry about your money. You're not worried about helping other people accomplish follow our system. I said, the system's so damn easy. Why, what when you follow it? Now, you got on Facebook and you played around with all that bullshit and those lies that people are telling. Everybody wants you to think they're great. I don't give a dang on who you are. Some of the stuff I read, I just quit even messing with it. Mark Pentecost's life ain't that great. Neither is mine. We got obstacles that come our way every single day that we get up and fight against. Now, when you mentally condition yourself for success and you climb the ladder, this is what happens. When obstacles come your way, you'll look at it as one of two ways. One, it's a stepping stone to get to where you're going. Because number one, if you don't have the test and you don't pass it, you don't have a testimony. If you don't go through the mess, you won't have a message because you're learning through life experience. And once you look at it from that perspective, it's really easy to stay focused on where you're going because your big dream and your big vision, your big goal is there, and you know what your why is. Now, some people hit the obstacle, and guess what? They see it as a roadblock. And a roadblock is nothing more that you haven't mentally conditioned to where you can reach back in your cerebral vortex and pull out the knowledge to create the solution for the problem. Because you want to hurry up and do it, and you just needed to get a title. They don't give a damn what your title is at the grocery store or where you pay your car payments and where you pay your house payment. If you have those, if you inflated your business, you got those. You're not out of debt. I wake up every morning, I feel really good about me. I don't owe nobody nothing. And I wake up beside the woman I love most for the last 39 years. We met in 79. She was 14. I was 16. We've been together ever since. Now I'm going to tell you why that is. Has it been easy? No. We got real poor real quick. We got hungry. We got married. 13 months later, I come home one afternoon. Robin said, I got some good news for you. You know how you ladies do? You get your hands all up and you just grinning. And I said, what is it? I got some news for you and it ain't good. She said, we're going to have a baby. I got sick on my stomach. No, I wanted a big family. I love my 2 daughters in my life. But I just lost my job that day. She said, oh, I believe in you. You'll get another job. I couldn't get anybody to hire me for nothing. Wasn't nothing going on where I live. And I kept telling her, I said, baby, one day I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I'm going to take you places you ain't never been. She said, we ain't eating 3 days. Why don't you get some food in the house? And if you read the first book I wrote, the guy that I talked about that gave me a job that kept me from starving to death, he's still my training partner, one of my best friends today. All these years later, he gave me a job paying me $5 an hour under the table. And I kept telling Robin, I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I'm going to do it. I never let those circumstances dictate my future. And then I got my break in the banking world over in Washington, D.C. I'm dyslexic. I have a learning disability, but I think in numbers and pictures. I'm really good with the number thing. Got over there, done really well, really quick, and that's what got me on up into the next bank that I transferred to in North Carolina, went straight to the top of it because I didn't quit when I got tired. I quit when I got done. That was the work ethic because I got tired of being what? Hungry. I didn't want my poor wife, and now I have a baby. My baby and my wife ain't going to be hungry. I don't care what I have to do. And, I remember mowing yards. I remember washing cars. I remember picking up beer cans on the side of the road. I did everything I could possibly do to get enough pennies to feed this girl so she wouldn't starve to death in the hot July in a mobile home with no air conditioning, and she's having problems with her pregnancy. And I felt like dirt. But I kept fighting. I could have gave up like the little boys do now, run back to mama's house. But see, I couldn't have went back to mama's house because my daddy was there, and he just didn't play that game. And so I don't take advice from broke people. I don't take advice from quitters. I just want to know how you done it, how you win. So my father was a Baptist minister, after the farm. And there was a man helping him put radio stations together. He was on 179 syndicated radio stations. Mr. Hartman come in from Virginia. That's where I'm from. And his wife was with him every time they showed up. And she would look at him like he was the greatest thing in the world. And they had been married for 60 years. And I said, Mr. Hartman, I need to ask you something. He said, okay. I said, you've been married to her for 60 years? He said, yeah. I said, how do you do that? How'd that happen? He said, what I did to win my wife's love the first week I met her. I said, yeah, what was that? He said, I sent her flowers. I said, I did that. He said, I wrote her handwritten love notes. I said, well, I've done that. He said, I mailed her cards, love cards from Hallmark. I said, I don't know where the cards are from, but I've done that. He said, the difference between you and me? I said, it's what? He said, I've been doing that every week for 60 years. I created an experience for the woman I love most, and I kept it exciting through the thick and the thin and the good, the bad, and the ugly. So Rob and I got poor, and I've never failed to do that every week for all these years. Like I'm following the man that's been most successful in my life was Mr. Hartman, my father, and my grandparents. And they did everything to keep everything alive, that excitement they had initially. They still have it. If you see me and Robin as we play around the world, we still got that crazy excitement. We might be in a jet doing crazy things, or we might be at the movies or riding horses up the Gatkin River. I don't know, just whatever we decide to do tomorrow. But I want to keep that sparkle. I don't care if I'm in Europe or wherever. She gets flowers sent to her, and I always try to make it where she's at the hair salon, the nail salon, and I want them to walk in, not because I'm trying to make a show. I just want her to feel special. I want her to feel my love. And those handwritten notes, Shelly, I study a lot. I prepare every morning. I read and do everything. I do lives every single day for our team, or they're public. You can watch them if you'd like. But I do that so I can tell her in different ways and different words how much I love her. And I'm going to tell you another story. Once when I was real young, I met this little girl, and my father said, son, you have to be a man of your word. And when you tell somebody something, if it costs you, you have to stick to what you tell people. You have to have that resolve in you that your word is all you really got. And so I told this little girl I was going to come over to the house that night. And back here in North Carolina, back in those days, when it snowed deep. And we don't get that much anymore. It gets real cold, but it don't snow like it used to. And I get home and I said, well, Daddy, I need the keys to your truck. I'm going over to this little girl's house. I told her I was coming to see her, and her grandma's cooking pork chops tonight. He said, you seen the weather? I said, yes, sir, I have. And I said, but you said I have to be a man of my word. He said, well, there are conditions. I said, you didn't tell me nothing about them conditions. I said, I'm going and I got to go. So I need the keys to your truck. He said, you can get the keys to my truck. And I said, no, I got to be a man of my word. And he said, well, walking's not crowded. And it sure wasn't that particular night, but she lived 9 miles away from where I lived. And I kind of laughed at it because I thought my daddy was picking at me. So I went and got my hunting jacket, my Carhartts, my snow boots. And I went out to the end of his driveway, and he'd opened up his big bay window. And he was gesticulating like he was telling me that you won't do it. And I got to the end of the driveway, and Shelly, I thought he was going to come out and say, here's the keys. But I turned around, and there he was. He's still waving. I thought, he thinks I won't do it. He's just messing. So I get about 100 yards up the road, and I look back, and he's still waving. That made me so mad. I said, I'll do it, or I'll freeze to death. So I took off in a trot. I got downtown Lexington, North Carolina, where the old courthouse is, against where they used to have wood and foam poles. I was so cold, Shelly, I was about to freeze to death. My legs was even itching, and I was a ball player. I leaned up against that phone pole, and I said, I must be the dumbest male in North Carolina. I'm about to freeze to death. And they didn't have cell phones back then. It wasn't there such a thing as pay phones every once in a while. And I had nobody to call, no way to get there, so I had to muster up the courage to turn around and go back. And I was leaning against that phone pole, and I started thinking, well, why in the hell did I do this? Then I started thinking, well, I like that little girl pretty good. Her grandmother went to a place we had in North Carolina called Smith Brothers, and they had pork chop night, and they cut them about 1 inch thick. I mean, they were good. The old girl was just a great cook. She had kid head biscuits and be that big around. I don't know if you ladies know what that is, but I'm from the mountains of Virginia, born on a farm. And then I knew everything she had was going to be great. But I started focusing on why I left the house to start with and why I was going. So Shelly, the next 4.5 miles didn't mean nothing. I didn't even feel the pain. So I get there. They helped me out of my Carhartts, my snow boots. I'm about to freeze to death. I got in front of the fire. They made me this big cup of hot chocolate. And the pork chops were big and thick. The biscuits were so good they just melt in your mouth. And I started enjoying the festivities there. I was around this little girl I really liked at that time. And it was about 10 o'clock. It's time to go home. See, back then you didn't stay over. Now, he would have showed up for that one and got me by the ear and dragged me out through the snow. And so about that time, there's a knock on the door, and it was her uncle. He just bought a new CJ5 Jeep. That tells you how long ago that was. And he said, I'll carry you home. I said, you're kidding. You'll carry me home? He said, yeah. So I jumped this Jeep, got to the bridge where I lived, about 500 yards away from my father's house. I said, stop. Let me out. He said, no, I'll take you to the front door. I said, I will not allow my father to know I didn't make the journey, the pilgrimage to and from. And so, Shelly, about the time I got to the end of his driveway, right before I went into it, I laid down and stood, put it all over my head and in my ears. And I walked in and looked at him, and I said, you think I'd do it, did you? I said, you should be a man of my word. Now, that was a whole newfound respect from my father to me. Until the day he died, I never told him no different. But this is what that got me. See that commitment of your word? That's the same little girl that's here in my house 39 years later. Commitment we've had with each other all these years. 2 wonderful kids. One that took care of me. When I got sick, I went from 258 as a college athlete to 750 with a tumor wrapped around my pituitary. I had to do 9 months of chemotherapy and radiation. I was like an invalid here. Here I was, this big college ball player, and she's having to do things that you don't want your sweetheart to do. She's feeding me like a baby, and she's making sure I got everything, and it was a strain on her. And she lived in a constant fear that I wasn't going to make it. And so what did that get me? Was it worth it? Was that one night of pain, going through all that cold? I could have let all the elements of the weather slow me down and stop me. I made up my mind I was going to be a man of my word, and I was going to be a finisher. I think it turned out pretty good, the investment of being a man of your word. See where that gets you? I don't ever have to worry about if my house is clean or if my guard dogs laying over here, if they're fed or if I'm not here. I don't ever have to worry about if my schedule's on time or my flights are booked. She does it all. So was it worth it? You're damn right it was worth it. Anybody can quit. And see, I took the advice of Mr. Hartman, how he stayed with his wife all those years. And I know they had rough times and good times. Rob and I have been through stuff. We've been poor and hungry. I've been about to die. They gave me 6 months to live. They're going to amputate both my legs. And here I am 12 years later with the It Works Global product line and working my ass off every day. I've dropped over 490 pounds. I run about 20 miles a day. I will lift weights like I did when I played ball. The same old guy that gave me a job for $5 an hour under the table so I didn't completely starve to death, He was a pro bodybuilder back then. He's still my trainer today, all these years later. We work hard together. We do it every single day. We're committed to where we're going, but we're committed to each other. So we're not like family. We are family. And so you can take every excuse in the book, but you got to be careful who you give your keys to your brain to. Do you know why? Because, you got everybody wanting to instill fear. And see, I was born on that farm, and I remember my great-grandmother, she loved these chickens. And you remember how they used to take their aprons, they pull it up, and they put all the cracked corn in, and they'd go out there and sling the corn around. Y'all might have seen it on the movie or television, or you might even experienced it. And the chickens, they'd just run as every chicken for itself. And one afternoon, I saw this fox come across the creek. My grandma said, "Oh, my God, I don't have the gun out here. He's going to get one of my chickens." But I noticed one thing distinctly about those chickens. When they smelled danger, it was every chicken for itself. They always just running like hell. And he did get one. See, the chickens didn't have to outrun the fox. They just had to outrun the slowest chicken. And he got one. And I started thinking, wow. If you're going to have that chicken mentality and you deal in fear and you're going to listen to all those people that quit, here's what's going to happen. They're a bunch of chickens anyway. So chickens will eat anything. They'll eat sticks, they'll eat worms, they'll eat bugs, they'll eat the corn, but they'll eat their own feces. And they'll eat all the cow feces, and they're not pecking in it for worms or bugs. And you eat that shit. Can you imagine? But here's what happens. When you got all those chickens running around, they eating all that crap. And here's what happens if you keep following those chickens. One day, my great-grandmother was a contract chicken killer. She'd go out there and grab a chicken by the neck, she'd wring his head off, and that's what we'd eat for supper. I know that's kind of gross to some of you young kids. But here's what's going to happen if you keep following a bunch of damn chickens. One day they're going to come out and wring your neck off. You're going to end up in a processing plant. And then next thing you're going to end up in a deep freezer, and you end up on somebody's dinner plate for Sunday. So do you really want to hang out with the chickens? I ain't never seen a chicken give an eagle flying lessons. You've got to make up your mind right now that you're going to be an eagle. You're going to spread your wings, because the average eagle, wingspan from tip to tip is 9 foot wide. And he flies in higher places, but he don't eat a bunch of chicken shit neither. And he don't eat those nasty chickens. See, a chicken is about as low a class of bird as they are. Why do you think the eagle is the king of the fowl? Because he can fly higher, because he's raised his standards of what he does and where he goes and how high he can fly. Nobody can fly as high as the eagle. So if you're going to follow something, why wouldn't you want to follow the eagle and how he postures himself and how he raises his standards and to go to the next level? Anybody can run with the chickens. Hell, it don't take nothing. They don't have no purpose in life other than they end up on your dinner plate on Sunday. So I don't want to run with the chickens, because you can't count on the chicken. When the fox comes, they're going to run off. If they can outrun you, you're going to be fox dinner. But see, they always deal in fear, and they're trying to get you to come over to them. And see, I have to stop and what is your track record like? How many deals have you been in? How many times have you quit? And every morning we get up very early, and right after I study and I read every day, self-develop, I go run. And last week before Christmas, Shelly, I got over there to run. And there was a new little girl that come to our group to run with us. And she's about 38, beautiful little lady. And we get stretching and getting around, and my baby daughter, Sam, you know Sam, Shelley, she runs with me every day. She works out hard. She's a beast. And this little girl got to talking, and she was telling us what she did. And I said, "Well, what did you say you did?" She said, "I'm a psychologist." I said, "Well, what kind of psychologist are you?" She said, "I'm a marriage counselor." I said, "Well, that's pretty cool." I said, "How long have you been married?" She said, "Oh, I'm not." I said, "Well, you ever been married?" She said, "Twice." I said, "Oh, shit, really? You've been married twice?" I said, "How in the hell can you give somebody advice that you ain't married now and you've been married twice?" I said, "I can't take no advice from you." I said, "What is the record of the people you're giving advice to? How many divorces they got under their belt? That seems like what you're good at." And she gets angry with me. I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, "My time is real valuable." And then she comes spitting out at me. She said, "Well, how long you been married?" I said, "I've been with the same girl since 1979, 39 years. I said, "I'm telling you what, I'm going to give you my discounted rate today. It's $100 an hour. You know, I take 2 hours a week for the next 8 weeks. I'll put you through my course of how that happens." And I kind of got her all upset. But then she started laughing. I said, "Do you understand what you just told me? If I needed marriage counseling advice, I can't come to you because you've not done it. So why would you want to follow somebody who ain't never done it? If they take you somewhere else, they ain't never done it. They just worried about their money. They're not professionals. They're just a bunch of weak company jumpers that's going to jump to the next one, to the next one. And it's always going to be somebody else's fault when they jump and run. I don't need that kind of people in my family. And by the way, family don't do that. That's a like family. They do that. And, I can't get on, this product line, it's on my medical record. I just had my 55-year-old physical. It's a gospel. My little doctor, she says I'm 18 on the inside. I guess at 55, you can run 20 miles in about 280 minutes. You do that every day, 7 days a week, plus as strong as I've done got, again, like I played ball again. She's confused at how I got here. She said, well, how many medications you on? I said, well, hell, look on the record. I hadn't had a medication to me in 8 years. But I work hard at that. Now, I could have just took it easy and listened to everybody else and stayed on those 29 medications. I'd be dead by now. But see, I made up my mind with conviction and purpose that I wasn't going to do it. They said I was going to die. And I said, I believed them about 3 days, Shelley. And then I said, bullshit. If I die, my 2 little girls are not going to watch me be here and become a victim. Listen to everybody else. Oh, you might fall and get hurt if you're out there walking. Oh, don't run too hard. You might have a heart attack. Oh, hell, I knew I was going to have one if I didn't. And so I just made up my mind every single day. So I want you to write this down. Small wins every single day compounded over time will make you rich. See, I know about banking. I know about how to make a lot of money. But I know what it takes to keep that going. Whatever got you excited, your why, when you first got into it works, or you first got married, or first got whatever you're doing, why in the holy hell did you lose it? Well, here's why you done it. I have privy to most of the numbers in the company. And so I can see a lot of them. So here's why you done it. You got all excited to start with, but then somebody told you there's going to be an easier way. So we're going to take a path of least resistance, kind of like pouring water on top of your head. It's not going to stay on top of your head. It's going to fall on the floor. And so we thought, well, we'll just jump on social media. We'll sit here on our ass and we'll get rich. If you're not building relationships, you're fooling and lying to yourself. You know what the worst liar is in the world? A person that lies to yourself, then you start to believe that bullshit. And I've been telling them all along, not to say knock it out of sight, but if you're not building relationships, building a family, you won't be here long. You need to go ahead and prepare to go get you a job. But ain't none of you ever made this kind of money working a damn job, including me. And I left $550,000 a year, not counting the perks, when I left that to come to do this with Mark. And I didn't join It Works and then quit my job. I quit my job and joined It Works, all in the same afternoon. But I took a calculated risk on my abilities to perform, and I believed in Mark Pentecost. I believed in his integrity and his character. I've been talking to him for 7.5 months, and what I did for a living, I can pretty much a good judge of character. And whatever this guy told me, I looked for inconsistencies in his story. And when I read about him, I went to an auction and bought the book where they wrote about him and Cindy and the other company. And I couldn't find any inconsistencies in it, but our whys lined up. And that's why we still talk almost every single day. We have for all these years. Every morning, very early, we pray together. I'll just be honest with you. Now, because my daddy was a Baptist minister, I'm not overly religious. I am a devout Christian. I totally believe in the life after, and I believe in blessings. And I believe how do you get into the channel of blessings? You become real. You don't hypocritic, get into a legalistic type system, the do-gooders, I call them. You get very real with what you're doing. You get very open, you're very honest, but you've got to honor your word. And you got to make up your mind you're going to become a professional, not just an amateur that jumps around and, whatever feeling you have today. And, that's why I don't take advice from broke people. The people I take advice from is, Mark Pentecost, Miss Pentecost. I take advice from them. They've been married a very long time, and they've been in business a very long time. They're notorious for being finishers. When they start something, they're going to finish it. And I understand their heart is very big, and I understand they care about everybody, and they're putting things in your path right now to make this even better. And you're going to see an influx of those same old quitters. They're going to run back over here because I made a mistake, and time of weakness. I don't hear all that horse shit. You quit. You cheat. Do you really want to hang out with a bunch of cheaters? Now, here we go. We have less than 1% saturation in the United States of America of our product brand, but that's going to vastly change this year. This is a year most of you are going to go between 6 and 7 figures this year. You're at the right place at the right time because, see, the market has already corrected itself. We're going to make more money this year in the market and your investments, your retirements you've ever made in the history of your life. That's exactly what's happening at Works Global. It's postured to become the greatest company on planet Earth. Do you know why? Because Mark don't quit. He is a fighter. Going through the adversity he's gone through, guess what happens? He's conquered it. But I think that the hand of God is on this particular man and his wife. I think it's on this company. There again, I'm not overly religious. but I'm not stupid neither. I understand what I see, and I understand that the numbers are all working out, and I knew this day was coming. I've lived my entire life for 2018. Shelly, everything I've done up to this now has been nothing more than a test, going to school, learning, going through obstacles, learning how to create solutions for problems. For 2018, it's payday. You just graduated from the Harvard Business School. You got your degree. What the hell are you going to do with it? Now, the last 3 or 4 years is like you've been to school. You've been to college. Now, you've passed the exam. You're going right into graduation. That's the next 3 days. On Monday, I don't give a rat's ass if it is January the 1st, we're going to work. In fact, my team's already went to work. We ain't waiting on the rest of you to try to figure out what the hell you're going to do. That's what's wrong with most people now. So you can't take the old you into the new year. Well, if you take the old you into the new year, nothing will be changed in a year from now. It'll always be somebody else's fault because you ain't made it happen. You sit on your ass and you listen to a bunch of broke people. And so do you want to continue to listen to those broke people? They're the guys that's always complaining. They're always the victims, and they've never made nothing happen. So whoever you're taking advice from, find out what their track record is. You probably know it. They've been divorced 2 or 3 times. They can't keep a mate. They've been in 8 or 10 businesses. They had 30 or 40 jobs. I mean, really, do you really want to follow somebody? You're going to take advice from them? That's like going to your broke cousin. And this early happened, Shelly. I was going to one of the airports, and I had on my It Works shirt, and I was in a hurry, and I was going through. The little boy at TSA said, "You at It Works?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You made any money with it?" I said, "Oh, we did all right. I think I become a millionaire with It Works in 36 months from the start." And I think that's the first one I made, somewhere in there, 36, 42 months. I said, "Yeah, we did okay with it." He said, "Man, I looked at that." I said, "Did you do it?" He said, "No, I didn't do it." I said, "Why not?" He said, "My cousin told me if you don't get one of them things early, you can't make no money." I said, "Really?" I said, "What's your cousin do?" I thought he's going to be some kind of broker. He said, "Oh, he works for Cracker Barrel." I thought, well, he must be some district guy. Got that kind of financial advice. I said, "What's he do for Cracker Barrel?" I know those people real well. He said, "Oh, he's a bus boy." I said, "Well, how old is he?" He said, "He's 42. Has he got any kids?" And 3 children. Ain't nothing wrong with being a bus boy at Cracker Barrel. Ain't nothing wrong. I think it's a noble job. I don't want to clean the tables up. I just know I enjoy eating there, but I'm not going to clean the table up. But I told you that to tell you this. So here's a kid at TSA. He's making $9.75 an hour then, and he's listening to a boy is putting dirty dishes in buckets. It's 42 and got 3 kids. And he's taking his advice for his financial future. Does that make any sense? No. So are you guilty of going to Cracker Barrel and taking advice from the bus boy, making minimum wage? He's going to tell you how you need to live your life and how you need to plan your life for your financial future for you and your family. I respect him. I shake his hand, tell him thank you for cleaning my table off, but I'm not going to go make any investments he says that are good or bad because he ain't never done it. See, we got in the habit of listening to people who ain't ever done nothing, and we put more value on what they say to us than we put in our own self and our abilities to go perform. You've got the very best company out there. You have the very best product line. You got people that fight for you every single day. You got this new app, What the Fit. I got confused about that for a minute. I had to catch myself on my live this morning. I almost said the other word, but I bit my tongue real quick and act like I burnt my lip with my keto coffee. And I said, "What the fit?" Yeah, it's all right. I'll get used to this in a minute. If I slip up and say it at conference, I said, "Mark, don't be mad at me. You done it." I said, I'm just a country boy and I got dyslexia going on and all that other crazy mess. But it's kind of catchy. The more you think about it, the more catchy it is. And now you have an app. That thing will be fully functional tomorrow, Shelly. That is the most genius friggin' thing I've ever seen. I've been over here playing with it tonight. To be able to send my app out to everybody I know and have them to go in and just get free stuff for basically nothing to help people love it. But if I can get you on my product line and you can share that and still get free stuff, do you imagine? Can you imagine what's fixing to happen? Y'all gonna remember the Zoom. You're gonna be sitting there like this little girl, Crystal. You sitting there doing this right here. If you don't go take advantage of this right now, you'll be doing this a year from now, trying to figure out what just happened. See, people, and I'm not picking on you, I'm just having fun. There's people who sit around and they'll just keep waiting and procrastinate. And I think procrastination is a satanic ritual. And you're just always ready to go do something. You ain't going to. You either get up early in the morning and go take care of yourself or you ain't. So, all right, this is what I want you to write down. I want you to get some piece of paper, yellow legal pad or a piece of notebook paper. I want you to write. I'll draw a line down the very center. And on one side, I want you to list all the assets that you have. Every action you take that is an asset. What is an asset? An asset is what the action you practice to get you towards your goal. The liabilities is it's the damn time you wasted. It don't get you any further. You're just busy. Hell, you need to be busy, not accomplish nothing. So here's what I'm going to tell you. It held true in banking. It holds true today. 20% of everything you do will generate 80% of your revenue. 20% of everything you do will generate 80% of your revenue. Why in the holy hell are you going to spend 80% on the 80 that don't generate hardly nothing? That is a liability. Everything you did today that don't get you further towards your physical goal, your financial goal, that is a liability. That's stuff those rituals that you have to stop practicing. Those rituals will become addictions, and addictions we know what addictions do. Whatever you're addicted to is what you're going to get real good at. If you're sitting on your ass as an addiction, that's what you're going to be good at. Your ass will prove it. So I had this lady the other afternoon. She said, "You're so addicted to working out and doing the right things." And she just kept on and got belligerent in front of all my buddies. You know, I kind of peeped around. I said, "I can see what you're addicted to." I said, "Do you have a wellness cabinet or a medicine cabinet?" She said, "Oh, I have a medicine cabinet." I said, "Well, I don't. I have a wellness cabinet. That's why I'm addicted to this stuff here. I don't want to take no more medications. I had enough of those when I did chemo and radiation." I said, "But I can see the size you're in, what you're addicted to, potato chips and television. You probably like Wise potato chips, the ones that barbecued or the sweet stuff. Is that not correct?" And she got angry. But then she started laughing. She said, "That's pretty good." I said, "No, I did that because I care about you and I want you to think. I want you to think of the liability you're creating for your family." Say, "I understand about liabilities, not because of my banking days, because I once was a liability to my wife and kids. They didn't know from day to day whether I was going to wake up alive." And see, I didn't want to be a liability to the woman I love most. Those two little girls are the most precious. You know, me and my daughters hunt. If y'all watched any of my stuff in the last few weeks, we were out west hunting. And it ain't nothing no better than daddy and his daughters out there in the woods with the guns and doing the shooting thing. But if I would have stayed here and felt sorry for myself and become a victim, I'd have been a liability. I wouldn't be alive today to enjoy this part of their life. And so the day I made up my mind I was going to become the asset to this family, I had to take the action to become an asset. The asset is, see, when I tell you got the seeds of greatness, and you know what that means, that means that greatness in you, that you're creating value for other people. See, there's something special about you ladies. Do y'all know what it is? Anybody? What's special about you ladies? Oh, hell, come on. Huh?
Driven.
Anybody? Driven. Wrong answer. What else?
Heart.
Wrong answer. You got all of this, but that's not what makes you special. See, in Genesis 1, God created man from the earth, and he gave him his work. His work is what makes him fulfilled, and that's not necessarily his job. In Genesis 2, he created you ladies because we needed help. And so y'all are so special to the point that you're chosen for a purpose. And out of about 7 million sperms going up toward your mama's egg, you're the one he chose. So right then, he makes you special. And by choosing you, he already had a purpose for you to fulfill. So here's how I look at it. I wanted my daughters and my wife, they don't need Rusty Lackey. They're very independent in their own right, and they've created their own identities. And I support it, and I love it. And my feelings are not hurt by it. I'm proud of it. But see, if a man gives you a sperm, you're going to do what? You're going to multiply and give him a child. If a man gives you a house, you're going to multiply and give him a home. If a man tells you what his dreams are, in 2 years, you're going to remind him of his dreams, and he hadn't accomplished it. He calls it nagging, but you're just reminding him of what he told you or what he promised you. Does that make sense? So what you ladies are, your multipliers. So never allow anybody to steal who you are, your identity, or your worth. Women are so bad about getting your worth, and you don't possess anything about your female person to change any little boy. If he's a little boy, that is a learned behavior. Your stuff ain't good enough to change who he is. And so you never lower your standards. You always raise your standard to the man that respects you and appreciates your independence. That's exactly the talk I have with my little girls. Little boys don't last around here too long because they cannot handle the identity and all that stout that independence that they have. And I kind of like it. That saves me from having to kill some kid over here in North Carolina where y'all get to see it on Fox News. Because that's exactly what would happen. And see, it comes from an utmost respect. But this is what, when I mail my wife those cards and love notes, I do that for my daughters. I want them to expect the very best in life. And they see me open the door for their mother. I always open the door. I'm a perfect Southern gentleman. And I do that because she is my lady, my wife, my woman, whatever you want to label her, she's mine. And I'm going to, by God, take care of her, and I'm going to make sure she understands it, and I'll make sure she feels the love. But also I want my daughters to see how you need to be treated. And so now you got a business here, then I don't care who's supporting you, who's not. You've got to know that you have greatness in you, that you are chosen, that you as that little sperm getting that egg, you're already chosen for greatness. And the greatness is what you're going to do is multiply what you've been given, because that is you adding value to the people around you, to mankind, to humanity. And so when you start to add value to it, you become what? You start to create your own identity, and you start to create your independence. And if men have problems with that, get rid of him. I don't give a damn how long you've been with that little boy. He's just a punk. That's how I believe. And so if he's not with you, he's against you. It's like two mules pulling against each other. That's what they call asses. When they're pulling together, you can move mountains. Now, some guys have identity crisis because you start making more money than doing a business like this, and it hurts their feelings. And if that's hurting his feelings, if he can't get over it right quick, get rid of him. Put him out in the street, let him get out there. It's cold this time of year. It'll change his mind. Then he'll start respecting you for who you are and the abilities you have to multiply the family and multiply the assets of the family. Does that make any sense to you ladies?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so never allow anybody to devalue you. Never allow nobody to steal your history from who you are to where you come from, because if they do that, they'll steal where you're going. And so bottom line is, but what's going to have to happen this year, ladies, is you're going to have to shut the door on your past. If you don't shut the door on your past, you will never be able to open the door to your future. Your future is happening right now, and it's go time. Y'all played around long enough. I had I talked to your people this morning, today, and I found out where y'all are. It's just go time. You're smarter than that. You're better than what I saw or what I heard. You ladies are a powerhouse. So how do you go from where you are to where you are? Well, one, the market is correcting itself, but you're still going to have to take responsibility for where you are, even if it's not your fault. Does that make sense? Now, this is real talk. This is how I talk to my people every single day, 7 days a week. I do lives around 9:30 in the morning. You guys are welcome to get on. You'll have fresh content every day because I'll read and study and I push for fresh content. But it's always going to be real. I don't have any time to play with you. This is not kindergarten. This is not high school. You just graduated Harvard Business School, and now you're going to go be paid like that. You'd like to be paid like that, wouldn't you? How many of you would like to earn 6 and 7 figures this year?
Let's do it.
This is not a joke. I'm not trying to fill your head full of shit and get you all pumped up for Shelly. Hell no, that's not it. Because if I can't depend on you ladies to come and bring it like you have the ability to do, we really don't need you. Because you'll be a hindrance to it this year, and we will hurt your feelings before it's over. We're going to do that in the first quarter. And then if you don't hurry up and man up and go to where you're going and set some goals, whatever goals and dreams God put into your heart, that's not by accident. How many of you got them all written down? If I said, all right, let me see what they are. Show us right now live. You can actually show us what your goals are. So here, I'm going to give you a plan of action. Where do you want to be in 1 year from today? How many of you know that? You don't know where you want to be? Oh, got one. Got a couple nods. Got one over here. Looks like she's at church. She keeps throwing that hand up. You go ahead, Crystal. Well, I can tell you this. So here's the plan of action I use. I have a daily plan of action. I will not go to bed tonight before Rob and I sit down and plan out our day tomorrow. Number one, you got to start taking care of yourself. Every morning you need to get up and exercise. You give a damn how old you are, where you are. Get your ass out of bed and get it done. If you have to get up an hour early, get it done. You're worth it. If you don't take care of you and put you first, nobody else will be important to you. If you don't think that you're the most important person in your life, guess what happens? You will not be any important to anybody else, and you become a liability not only to your family, but to this family, and also to what you're doing to accomplish where you want to go for your dream. You're a liability to your dream. So that should be priority. You can't even get unless you're Shelly or Cammy or Mark, unless that particular number comes up on my phone while I'm exercising, I don't even answer it. That's the first thing that happens in the morning. And they're not just bullshit 10-minute walks neither. We push, we stretch. I don't ever want to be sick again, ever. So you take that goal and you take and divide wherever you want to be in a year from now. You divide that by 12. 12 months in a year. And then you're going to divide that by 4. There's 4 weeks in a month. And then you need to divide that by 7. That is the action you need to take every day, compounded over time with you and your team to be where you want to be in a year. And don't be scared to dream. Don't be scared to take it to the next level. Don't be scared to stretch yourself. Like you're worried about if you don't make it, so what the hell if you made half of it? Is that better than where you are now? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Got 2 yeses? The rest of you, y'all got cricks in your neck or what? Yeah, it is. But see, multiplying itself through compounded over time, here's what's going to happen in 24 months. Everybody on this Zoom, you'll be a 7-figure earner. You'll be with Shelly and I on stage in the Millionaires Club. That ain't no joke. That's where you are. You're at the right place at the right time. But you can't do this sitting on your ass hoping it's going to happen. You have to put the action to it. You're going to have to throw more fits. Instead of rap parties, we call it fit parties. I like to throw fits. You know, I throw a fit every day when I'm exercising. I'm getting fit. And it's really cool that I can go in and throw a fit and people will love it now. So this is what I want. I want your physical health to be fit. Not only your physical health, but this is what's going to happen. If you don't take care of your physical health, your financial health will never make it. Because you've created yourself a liability. You're no longer an asset to the family. So every day I want you to write down the 2 most things that you're strong at that creates 80% of your revenue. And I want you to spend 80% of your plan of action planning that day around the 20% it brings in the 80% of your revenue. If you don't do that, you're going to be broke in a year from now. You probably will be over at Lavelle or one of them other bullshit companies. It's not going to make it long. And then here's why I'm saying that. All companies are good. But I know the CEO of that deal. Known him since 92. This is what I've asked everybody in the network marketing industry. Bring me your guy that's lost 490 pounds on the same damn product line and is still working today after 12 years later. I need to meet with that person. Because if you can show me that story, I'll take a look at your product and your company. They don't even want to hear that. They hang up the phone. Oh, I said, I know you can't do it. You've only been in business for 4 years. You don't have a track record. Unless you've been in business for about 10 years and you got a good 10-year strong track record, I'll respect you as a human being, but personally, I'm not going to apply your advice to nothing because you don't have a record. You don't have a track record for advice. Track records start for success, even in the stock market, in about 10 years. Oh, you got the IPOs that pop up and down. But follow Mr. Warren Buffett and see what he says. You know why he invests heavily in Coca-Cola? Well, they've been around over 100 years. If a person just drank one 6-ounce bottle of Coke a day, he gave me the numbers of how many billions of dollars he'd make just at a couple pennies. But he said they've got a track record. And I can only trust what the old boy says. Mark Pentecost has a track record. Our product line has a track record. I have a track record. And I ain't nowhere close to where I want to be physically or financially. You know why? Because I got so much left in me. I'm not going to die. They said, when are you going to retire? I said, I'm never. The day I fall over dead, I'll be about 120. And the day that happens, because every day I work out, and I feel like I'm getting younger. That's what I asked my little doctor. I said, so I'm 18 on the inside. I said, don't bullshit the bullshitter. I said, pull some more blood. I think you have me confused with a kid. So seriously, she told my wife this. So as she pulled the blood, I went back 2 days later. It's the same thing. I said, man, that's exciting. And I asked Robin, I said, how does that make you feel? You're 52 years old, running around with an 18-year-old boy. Does that make you feel good? You know, the doctor, she's having fun with it. And I looked at the doctor. I said, no, I need to ask you one more thing. I said, what do I need to start doing and practicing in my daily regimen to get me back to I was 16? That was a real good year for me. And she's laughing. But now my doctor is my customer, and so is her parents. All because I went and shared it with passion and conviction about what I did. And it's on the record. No medication, Shelly, in 8 years. I've not even had a cold. I might get one tonight. I doubt it. I mean, I take enough greens that every time I sneeze, green mist envelops the room. You might look like you need to call it exorcist to do an exorcism, all that green stuff flying everywhere. But you know what? I'd rather do that and have this port stuck back in my chest being juiced up. I ain't going to do that no more. I refuse that. So in closing here, I just want to let you know something. If you promise me something, will y'all promise me something?
Yes.
Yeah? Yes? Tanya, you? Yes? Yes? Promise me you won't quit on you and who you are. And I promise you I'll be here to back you every step of the way. I won't give up on you because there's nowhere to quit. The only time you lose is when you quit or you follow a loser somewhere else. See, you have to understand how valuable you are, that you do matter, and that you're not like family, you are family here. And see, I'm not just talking about a couple years or 4 years or like some of the other ones that had a couple runs and now they're having to steal from other people and now their runs are going the other way. We've stood the test of time, and now there's going to be a bitch whipping coming. So what's going to happen? We're going to kick network marketing's ass right up between its ears this year. You know why? Because we haven't never quit. We stay focused. See, it's real easy to be that leader when everything is really good and you're getting some stage time and woohoo. When shit hits the fan, let's see who you are. See, I read after great generals. General Patton, my grandfather fought under him in the Second World War. He always led his men into battle. He never sent nobody nowhere. He said, if anybody gets shot, I get the first bullet. I kind of like that attitude. That means you could always count on him having your back or being by your side because he never sent you to battle. He led you into battle. There's a difference between sending and leading. Does that make sense? You'll always be a pace setter. All of us started as followers, but then some people had a better idea to step up. I want to be a leader. And leadership is what? Leadership is you're not a boss. Leadership is you're a great servant to people. True leaders figure out creative ways to serve other people. And see, the better servant you become, the better leader you'll become because you've often heard servant leadership. And see, I still can't find nobody else in those other companies that's got those big success stories. Anybody can lose 30 pounds in 60 days. Try 490 in 12 years. It's still coming off. People will make you doubt yourself. People will try to make you doubt yourself because they have an ulterior motive. They have an agenda. When you show up, and I'm going to give you a couple questions to ask your people when you sit down in front of them. These are professional. This comes from the bank. When I sit down with a person, the people I had one-on-ones with today, I didn't go there with any agenda or an outcome while I was there. All I want to know is how can I serve you? So the first question I ask, y'all ready to write this down? Y'all, I got a pretty sharp mind, but it's not sharp enough to remember all this, so you got to write it down. Don't put it in your little iPads. Take a pencil, write this stuff down so you internalize it. The first question I ask is what's most concerning to you about your physical health and your well-being and your future? And I don't say another flipping word. I look at that person if it's for 5 minutes. I want to know what's most concerning them about their health. If I don't know what's most concerning them about their health, how in the hell do I know what to talk to them about? If it's stress, I immediately go to Confiance, and I never say what it does. I always pull the material out and I show them, well, read this. This is what I use for stress. Or the relief. This is what I use for knee pain. I'm supposed to have bone on bone. I'm running 20 miles at 55. I don't know that. I think the cartilage grew back. They said it can't happen. Well, I just beg to differ. I've done the right things. And I find out what's most important. And I did get this 24-year-old girl today. She said, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm in tip-top shape. I said, well, maybe I asked you the wrong question. I said, what hereditarily affects your family, your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother that you might be concerned about now that you would like to work on now to start to prevent that from happening to you since it's hereditary. And it was breast cancer, Alzheimer's. And now she saw it from a different light. But I didn't go in with an agenda. I went in to create a solution if she had a problem. And there's times I get to people that's just hard-headed as hell. Ain't nothing wrong with them. They got S on their chest, and they don't need anything. So therefore, I cannot create a solution for that problem. Because that's a mental problem. Because everybody has something that you're scared of. And I let them tell me all about them, and I get to know about how many kids you got and what's important to you. And then we create that solution. And here's the one that I really enjoy doing the most. You got your college fund set up for your kids. Awful expensive to send 2 kids to college now. I know, I got to. What's most concerning to you about your financial future? The number one answer I get, Shelly, is I don't have one. If I could show you how to make $300 to $500 a month, would that help out at the end of the month? Yes. That's when you go into showing them what we got. And now it's got even easier with this new app. The other companies aren't teaching that. They're teaching you how to steal and hustle and hurry up and buy in and have some buy. And it's all that horse shit. I wish I was the Attorney General for the United States of America for about 30 days. I'd wipe most of them out. Not because, and I love direct sales. I think every company has its place, but I think some of their tactics is terrible. It's just unethical. That's because they create cheaters. I'm going to try to help you become professionals, because when you walk in, you say, I've been on his Zoom. I want you to walk in with the utmost confidence that you are a professional, that I can send you into any environment and negotiate the next $1 billion deal. Do you believe you deserve it? Do you believe you have the capabilities of doing that? If I didn't believe you had the capabilities to do it, you wouldn't get none of my time this evening. Would you, Shelly?
Nope.
Long time. I'd said, hell no, I ain't got time to mess with them. They're not serious. They want to go play games with everybody else. You know, why do you think y'all ever have a county fair in your area?
Yep.
A county fair? Why do you think it only lasts for a week or 10 days? Because that's all the bullshit the community can handle, and they have to go up to the next year. They have to see you every year. See, even the greatest show on earth went out of business, Barnum and Bailey. That's because they keep handing you all them circus monkeys and those circus clowns. And you know what? We keep falling for that shit. We used to every year. We got to do some rides. See, if I have to tease you with a circus monkey in a freaking Ferris wheel, I'll have to damn tease you to keep going or incentivize you with bullshit to keep you here, trinkets. But when you make up your mind that you're going to become a professional, and when you walk in, you look like you own the freaking bank instead of, just having to go see the teller. Shelly, I don't do bank with tellers. I go upstairs to do my banking. I don't ever go see the teller no longer. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just saying I believe every one of you deserve to be here. And you have to make up your mind that you're going to be a finisher, not a quitter. You're going to stop starting over, and you're going to quit listening to that bunch of bullshit that people are trying to tell you how great it is over there. And you get over there, and well, it ain't great no more because the guy that told you it was great over there, he went to somewhere else, it was great. That's not greatness. That's not greatness.
Well, Rusty, I lost somebody 3 days ago, and the next day got an email saying that she wanted to come back. She made a rash decision.
Shelly, it's funny you say that. I did go to church last night. I swear I did. I'm one of the largest contributors in my father's church. And last night, Robin, I'd come in from out of town to meet her there. And as we was leaving, she said, "You're not going to believe this." And I said, "Sweetheart, I'll believe anything you tell me." And I said, "I am 18. You're just older than I am." I'm just picking with her. She said, "So-and-so just gave me a text and asked me what I called them. They want to come back. They made a mistake. The grass, it was greener on the other side, but when they jumped the fence, they jumped over in the septic tank. It went up in a big shithole when they jumped over there. And it looked all green, but you ever walked out where the sewer is? Back in the day, it's gully filling up. You walk in, you mire up about that deep and crap. Yeah, the grass is real green, but it's not stable to walk on. So you jump the fence. What'd you jump in? Well, you know what you jumped in, that sewer tank. The smell of sewer just don't do nothing for me. I like stability. I like people that are men and women of their word. I like when we go to fight. Now, here's how I am. If we're all at a restaurant, somebody rolled up in there to mess with y'all, and Shelly can attest to this, they better plan on killing me first. That restaurant will not be able to stay open the rest of that evening or open the next day because there's going to be a terrible fight. Because we ain't like family here. We are family. And so that's the kind of stick-to-itiveness you've got to have, that backbone, that spine. And when you make a decision, so what you got to know, or so what you got some quitters that quit. Shit, the world's full of those. You're after that person that has a dream and a vision because you're nothing more than a hope broker. You're a broker in hope. And if you don't have any hope in yourself, how in the hell are you going to give anybody else any hope? Because are you notorious for following a bunch of quitters and losers? Are you notorious for not studying and reading and become a professional in your craft? Are you a product of the product? I have never not been on auto ship. I mean, off of it. We run 4 auto ships in my house, and we have for 16 years. And everybody gets their own stuff here. Yeah, I'm not sharing mine with them. They get their own. Because I'm alive today because of this product line. And so look at your spouse, look at your kids. Get everybody involved, but when you look at your kids, say, Mommy will no longer be a quitter, and I'm not going to listen to a bunch of people that never made nothing happen. I'm not going to listen to all that gack and that distractions and keeping you distracted from being all you can be. If you're making $1 million a year, whatever you're doing, by all means, keep doing it. Don't quit. Maybe this ain't for you. But if you ain't, you better get real serious about what we got going on. And like I said, I ain't been doing this for 2 years or 4 years. I've been here since the beginning when shit happened. And here's when I fell in love with my business. It's not a matter if this happens to you. It's a matter of just when. And I don't want to piss on your dream or on your parade at this point because most of you are looking pretty confident and happy right now. But Shelly, you know, my father was my hero. He was my best friend.
Yep.
You know, from the time I was little bitty, and he got diabetes, and then all of a sudden he had kidney failure and was on dialysis for 4 years. And I get that call one afternoon, and I had to rush over to the hospital. When I got there, his heart was racing. They couldn't get it to slow down. And I looked at him. I said, I ain't leaving till you do. And I meant it. I didn't realize I'd be there for the next 37 consecutive days. He coded on me 3 days later. Everything was chaotic. I stood at the head of his bed on my watch and counted off compressions as the nurses cycled me in and out. I never lost my cool when they did that. The crash carts were inadequately prepared. They had to open up 3 of those at $3,000 a piece to find the adrenaline shot. The girl that was going to do the shock in the paddles to get his heart back beating again, she was going to all the hell. I said, look, this is your time to shine. You have greatness in you. Take a deep breath. Let's get this done. We brought him to, and we're off to ICCU, where I sat for the next 25 days. It was a Sunday after Christmas when he came to. He was on life support. And I thought we won. And we had some great conversation. And I bought him a special Christmas gift, and it was real special. I had it custom made for him. And I thought we was going to be home, but the Sunday after Christmas, we actually missed Christmas. I didn't even realize it. 24 hours a day in that environment, you lose track of who you are and time and everything. But I remember distinctly that the thoracic surgeon walked in at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's the Sunday after Christmas, and he said, "You've been here a long time. Do I need to write your note for work?" I said, "No, sir, I own my time." He said, "Oh, nobody owns their time." I said, "Well, I beg to differ with you, sir. You're here because Navant Health told you to be here. I'm here because I told him I wasn't leaving." I said, "By the way, I can sit here for 10 years. It will not affect my way of life. But I'm not leaving until he does." That's very stressful. Very hard. The only person that contacted me every single day was Cindy Pentecost. Every day. Without failure. 3 days later, he had to go back on the ventilator, and I had to have him unplugged January the 9th of 2013. That was the hardest decision I ever made. But I didn't have to leave him for 37 consecutive days. I held his hand for 37 straight days. The only time I let it go to go into his little restroom there at ICCU, and I never left his bedside. Now, you tell me there's a better company than it works out there, and I continue to get paid with raises, and I continue to own my time to that capacity where my 3 younger siblings, their bosses told them to get their asses back to work, that they had doctors and nurses to take care of their daddy. And they live in regret this very day. It's not a matter if it happens, it's when it happens to you. Are you in a position that you can say, no, the hell with all of it, I ain't leaving till you leave. I'm going to be right by your side. Because he would have been by mine. I miss him so terribly bad. I give you everything I got. I give you all 8 figures every month, right? I turn it over to every one of you this minute. If I can build this business back to this capacity the next year. If I could have 24 more hours with my father, I'd give it all away and start completely over. Time is precious. There's only 24 hours in a day, so how you spend it. One day you wake up and you're 50, you're 60, and one day you're waking up and the person you love most is gone. And you're going to wish you would have. And you could have, but you chose to listen to those other people. Now, if I'd have listened to everybody else in my life in the early days, my wife was mad at me for 2 years, didn't speak to me. The woman I love most, my mother, her mother, our sisters, just talking all this shit that I need to go back to the bank, back to the bank. I said, when I left the bank, I had a skill set, and he left with me. It's by staying there all these years and not quitting on Mark and him not quitting on me. I've lived this crazy lifestyle all these years. the biggest thing I can tell you is not waking up on an alarm clock and not listening to those other crazy people. Yeah, one of those companies we talked about offered me $250,000 to leave and go with him the other day. I said, that's cheap, and I don't need $250,000. And if I did need it, I wouldn't do that, because you know why? Because you're trying to cheat. And I can't live the rest of my life on $250,000 for the big plans I have for my family and our charities and things that we support. Every book I write, all the sales of those books goes to the sex trafficking of children. We want to make a difference in their life. It Works Global's made a difference in mine, and I know it'll make a difference in yours. And all I want to do is go out and make a difference in your life. I just want to share some of my experience with you, my story with you tonight, so that you can see that you are at the right place at the right time, that you are valuable, and you do deserve this kind of success. Never let nobody talk you out of your success, because if you do, it ain't nothing but your fault. 2018 will be the best year you've ever had. You will remember this Zoom for the rest of your life, because at the end of next year, we'll all meet again at the 2019 conference, and hopefully before then, that you know you made the right decision to man up and woman up, that you wouldn't go longer to listen to distractions. You're going to get focused, and you're going to put the effort, you're going to put the quality time as those CEOs of those big companies that you're running, as the owners that you really are, and being who you are, and being real and true to yourself, and not allowing circumstances to dictate your future. See, when you quit, you allow circumstances to dictate your future. Well, what I want to do is put you in a position that you dictate circumstances. And that means you do that because you don't have to wake up on an alarm clock. How cool is that? No alarm clock on your bedside for the next 16 years. I can tell you it's been great for the last 16. That is a fact. I do not wake up on alarm clocks. I've always hated it. Did any of you great people have any questions about anything? Come on. I'm yours for the next 22 minutes, and I have another one of these to take care of. So you don't quit when you get tired. You quit when you get done.
Does anybody have a question? You guys can unmute yourself, or I can unmute you if you raise your hand. I think everybody's in awe, Rusty. I'm getting text messages, and I've seen a lot of breakthroughs from people sitting here on this Zoom, and
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
This little girl, Francesca, why are you crying? I want you to unmute yourself and tell me why.
You're unmuted.
Just a lot, like, to hear your story and really get that clear vision. I've allowed my circumstances to dictate me. And I'm tired of it. Sick and tired of it. And to see that I've been holding on this long, I know that there's something for this company, and I know I'm in the right place at the right time. And it's time for me to run. And just run with it works.
So you've identified what you considered your problem. So now you know how to create a solution for that problem. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
I want you to send Shelly your plan of action. Daily plan of action. Shelly, I'll talk to you tomorrow about it.
Okay.
All right, who's next? Hey, you ain't getting off this easy. You know, I did all the talking. I want to hear something now.
I feel the same way as Francesca does. I let other things dictate what my business is going to do, and I should be the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with her completely. I feel the exact same way. And I come from a similar story
Mm-hmm.
to what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I have done really well in the last year with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just keep thinking it's such a long road, and I get very frustrated with, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it still looks like it's a million miles away.
Mm-hmm. So what's your name?
My name's Adriana.
Yeah, okay. So what is your story?
That's the problem. I mean, I have people in the group, but that's about it. I mean, my family's not very supportive of any of it. They never have been.
Yeah.
My husband told me the other day that It Works is killing us.
Uh-huh.
So it gets very hard when everybody I feel like everybody's working against me.
Uh-huh. Who is everybody?
My family, my friends. I've lost like my best friend to 20 years over this, and
Well, that wasn't your best friend. That's bullshit.
right.
Yeah.
I've come to terms with that, but it just I don't know. It's made me a better person, and I love this company and the people in it because of it. But I just feel like I feel like I put like my life circumstances first when I need to go the other way around.
Mm-hmm. My great-grandfather, one time, he had a mule. She had been one of our mules for 20 years, and she kicked him. He said, "I'd just be damn, that mule stood around until she got a chance to kick me after 20 years. You know what he did to her? He went and got the double-barrel shotgun, and I was telling my great-grandma, I said, oh, my God, he's going to shoot the mule. She said, well, don't go out there because he is going to shoot her. He shot the shit out of her. He killed her. Because she kicked him. He said, you're not out fed her. She's worked hard. But yeah, that's just the way it was in the mountains. I mean, my grandfather, he died at 103.
Wow.
But, you know, some people just hang around you all those years to what they can get out of you. And when you start making your break for freedom and you start making your break to do something better, this is what I want you to do. Stop proving those damn people right. For once, let's just prove them wrong. You know, everybody says, oh, hell, he'll just do that for 2 weeks. And then most people got you pegged because your patterns run. They're very predictable, most people's patterns. Just stop proving people right. Start proving them wrong. So, is that what you think? Yeah, Callie, you under that hat all hid up. What's your story?
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, you caught me off guard. Well, I just, like you said something really important. And you got me to cry tonight, but because you made me think of my mom and how I was able to be there for her. But more or less, you know, she died at 65 years of old age. And like I think about her saying that she didn't get to be there. Like she said, I wish I could just watch her granddaughter graduate at 18. So she died when Avery was 4. And I just, that was so much drive for me. And I've been doing the keto diet. I've lost 20 pounds. But just what you were just saying about being consistent and making yourself, you said the first thing in the morning, like it's got to be about you and you're the most important person of the day. And I just like, that just spoke to me huge. And I mean, I'm fighting for my health, you know, because I do want to live to watch my grandkids graduate and fulfill that and, you know, leave a legacy for them. And I know I'm meant for so much more. It's just, I allow circumstances like a business that I own as well, run over. And Shelly knows. I've been complaining to her, not complaining. I'm just telling her, you know, I'm so ready to just get done with getting run over by my other business, you know, because I can't do both. Because wherever I put my energy is where it succeeds. So yes, my business is succeeding, but then my It Works business falls to the wayside. I love It Works. I know I'll never leave It Works. Even in the last, like, just what it's done for me health-wise is my big why and why I'm here. And still with It Works. But I feel like, you know, I lose my passion and my excitement because I'm so drowned out by, like, maybe you when you were in the business world doing banking. It's just, it's a lot of work. And I'm just trying to find a healthy balance. So I have hired a supervisor who I've trained for the last 3 months so I can find the time to just do It Works again, you know? So I'm not so drained out, but I love the people with It Works. I know their family. I love everyone around. I love you guys. It's just, I just know it's time to quit talking and start working my business and quit making excuses for the new year. Because you said, don't take the old you into the new year. So
That was
I'm
so
sorry, I'm a big whiny baby tonight, but
Kaylee, I thought that was one of the most powerful things that came through, is that we cannot take the old into the new year. Rusty, that was a very powerful statement. And we've got a few days to get rid of that old. We got a few days to really put our hearts and our souls into our goals and where we're going to go and what do you deserve, you know? What is it that you really, really want? And get really serious with it, you guys. Because that hit me probably the biggest thing. The biggest statement out of everything was, you can't take the old into the new year. Loved it.
Well, you can, but if you're expecting a different results, it's not going to happen.
Right.
And you're going to have to become results driven. One, you have to be a product of the product. And everybody's got this shit in a reverse order. Reverse order doesn't work in anything. So there's 3 classes of people. Write this down. You got broke people. They're always focusing on money. They want to win the lottery. They need $50. If I just had $1,500, I could pay my car payment. Well, I didn't even have a damn car payment. But they're never going to focus nothing more than a lottery mentality. And then you got rich people. They want you to see their big house and their car and all that other shit. Ain't nothing wrong with having it. I got it. I live very modest, but I probably got about $300,000 or $400,000 worth of vehicles sitting out there. We travel like hell. I mean, we're on the go all the time, and I buy them every year because I travel so much. I'm not saying that to brag, but here's how you can get all of that and be debt free. Wealthy people focus on ideas. They focus on capitalizing on what they got. As far as the idea, capitalizing on the action of making it happen. And everybody else just wants to showboat. That 15 minutes of fame will keep you broke as shit. If I never hit the stage again, I don't care. You lead from the back. Major portion of this company's in my organization. Now, I've worked like hell. My first month in this business, I put 635 people in my organization. That's grew to hundreds of thousands of people over the last 16 years. But that was 20 hours a day. I was working on my what? Fortune. Not on my business, on my fortune. I made $9,997 my very first check when it worked local. I hit double diamond in 20 some days. But I did more 3-ways and conference calls, and this environment, I stayed on it around the clock. See, we've got to use the messaging and texting when you should be on the phone, letting people hear your voice, feel your passion. That's how you connect with people. I don't give a damn what they say about social media. You can buy all that shit if you want to. I'm not saying it's bad. You can use it, but if you're not doing the other along with it, it's not going to grow fast. When people can feel you and hear you, that you're sincere, they can feel those octaves in your voice. They project into them. It goes in from that molecular transfers from you to them. It creates a what? An emotion. A belief system. They believe in you. They want to go to the next level with you because you've created what? A belief. And along with belief, it becomes trust. And you can't do nothing to breach that trust. That's what happens when these people jump around. Oh, they thought some of their organizations were going to go and they're going to recruit the rest of us. That's bullshit. Who's going to follow a bunch of damn losers anyway? They ain't never made nothing happen. That'd be like me following a guy over at the Cracker Barrel, the bus boy. Listen to him and follow him. Next thing you know, I'd be busting tables like him. But who wants to? Ain't nothing wrong with it. That's what you do, by all means. It's commendable. Honest work. Don't quite get me to where I want to go with what I want to do with the rest of my life. One day it's going to be over. So you have to be careful who you give the keys to your brain to. And if you're not self-developing, that is key to making it happen. Because when you self-develop, when the problem occurs, if you've developed through it, you look at it as not a roadblock, it's just a stepping stone. Something else is that you can learn. And when you start to learn, guess what? You become more valuable in the marketplace. When you can create more solutions for more people, every time you go up a pin level, you've got to be prepared to handle bigger problems. That's why they pay us bigger money. They're not going to pay you a bunch of money to sit on your ass and not handle problems. That's what leaders do. Get used to it. But then you become effective and efficient at handling problems because you did what? You've learned. You self-developed. You've turned you've passed the test. Now you have a testimony. You've went through the mess. You have a message. All people need to do is hear your what? Your testimony and your message. Where's Ashley at? I've noted her and I wrote her down. Did she leave?
I'm here, Rusty.
All right, I want to hear from you.
I just feel like you have just spoke so much life into me tonight. It was like as if you took all these feelings that I was feeling inside, but I couldn't put to words, and just spoke them so clear tonight. I feel like in my business I've had points where I've ran like crazy, and then there's those points where you have inactivity, and inactivity breeds doubt. And so, I've had these spurts of depression, and with that depression comes fear and those thoughts like, can I do this? Am I capable of this? Am I going to be a good leader? And I just feel like now there's one answer to it, and it's just consistency, and it's just staying consistent. And when you talked about children, like I look at my daughter and I just think I don't ever want her to feel like her mom didn't do everything she could. I don't want her to feel like she couldn't have something because mommy didn't work hard enough to pay for it. I want to make a legacy for my family. I don't want to be that person who didn't try hard enough. And so I'm just ready to work. I'm ready to work and not stop. And that's pretty much it. I'm just tired of not living up to my true potential.
Ah, I like that. True potential. Write that down. Are you living up to your true potential? And you know what? To be honest with yourself, are you really living up to your true potential? Is your activity and your actions, is that really your true potential? Can you get better than you are? Have you really gave this your best? Only you and God knows that. How do you say, did I give it my best? You know what you did today. Could you have done more? If you could have done more, you didn't give it your best. If you go to work out in the morning and you run for 2 miles and you know you could have ran 3, you didn't give it your best. You cut it short. You shortchange. When you shortchange something or you quit on something, you quit on the team. You're quitting on you. You're shortchanging your children. You're shortchanging everybody else. Not nobody else. We'll replace you. We're professional enough to go get it. But we don't want to because, see, we see the good and value in every one of you. We see more than you than most of you see in yourself. That's why we're here talking to you tonight. You just have this greatness in you, but you've got to believe you deserve this kind of lifestyle. And see, most of you, from what I'm listening to, is from whatever backgrounds you come from, you just really don't believe you deserve it. And therefore, you're going to do whatever it takes to sabotage your success at a point, and you become inactive. See, you're either proactive or you're reactive. And when you become reactive, you become what? Inactive. And you'll justify it. And if I talk to you, and this is one thing I pick up on quick as a negotiator for the bank, when I always go, but I know sooner or later, after those 2 words, there's an excuse coming. But it's an unjustifiable excuse. You wasn't in the hospital. Nobody died. You were just lazy. You'd rather you put more value in watching a damn television. I rarely watch that shit. Or than you do yourself, or reading a book, or picking up the phone and calling somebody and finding out how they are. Can you create a solution for what? A problem they might have. All you're going to do is the bigger problems you solve, the more money you're going to make. The more problems you solve for other people, the more money you're going to make. And then you're going to teach them to do what? Duplicate your effort. Everybody loves to talk. Everybody likes to hear stories. So why aren't you telling your story? Everybody here have a product story? Raise your hands. What about you, Missy? You got a product story? Missy Woods, you got a product story? Yes? Okay. So why aren't you telling that story? You know how this business is driven into the mega millions? It's all for your story. Every book you read is somebody's story. Every song you hear, I don't care what brand of music you like, it's somebody's story. It's somebody's struggle from rags to riches. Or you know, everything you hear, see, or do, every advertisement is somebody's story. Why ain't your story just as important as theirs? Why aren't you the ones that's writing the next books or publishing the next magazines or in the next magazines? Where is the richest places on earth? Any of y'all know? The graveyard. Huh?
Oh, the graveyard.
It's the graveyard. You know why? Because all those songs that should have got wrote died and went to the grave. That great idea somebody had about a book didn't get wrote, went to the graveyard because they were so worried about what other people thought. All the great technology that could have been to help mankind be further along is in the graveyard. And you know why they put headstones on just average, mediocre people? So if somebody can go through there once in the next 100 years and find out there was an existence of you there. That's why they put your name and your date of birth and your date of death on the headstone. But when you come out to be a legendary leader, people will remember your ass for years to come. You ever heard the story of Hercules? That is a true story. That they still making movies about that dude. Man, you know, if you watch the movie Troy, he went to fight this big 7-foot giant. And he was throwing swords at him. He was blocking him with the shield. And he threw the shield down. He jumped up and stabbed him in the neck. But right before he did it, the little boy said, he's bigger than you are. He might kill you. And he looked at the little boy and told him that. This is the part I liked about it. He said, yeah, people like you, they'll never know your name. You still hear about Hercules today. Every kid wants to be like Hercules. Yeah? Say, don't you want people to know who you are, who you were? Don't you remember your name? Don't you want your grandkids looking at your picture over the white horse, over the fireplace? I'm going to be sitting on the white horse with a double-barreled shotgun and a party pad. My great-grandfather, he went after it. He didn't quit. Because of him, we get to live like this. I love to hunt. I love to ride horses, and I will read a party pad. I don't give a damn if it's on the back of my truck, on a horse, or in a jet. I'm going to let people know what I do. I'm going to tell my story. And if you have a compelling story and you learn to tell that thing in about 60 seconds, that elevator pitch, and you find out what's most important to those people, you'll be able to tell that story a bunch of times. And I challenge you this, the more you tell your story, the more money you're going to make, the more people is going to get emotionally attached to who you are, but where you're going. Because you know why? Because they want to go with you. They don't want you to walk off and leave them. Oh, you're going to have a bunch of naysayers, your family, your husbands, and little boys y'all married to. They're going to get their feelings hurt. You know, you made a little more money or you didn't give them all that love they think they need. And they don't even respect you for that. They didn't realize that you're the multiplier of the deal. Without y'all, hell, we couldn't. Could you imagine? Here we just got through Christmas. If they would have sent 3 wise women to the manger instead of 3 wise men, could you imagine? I'm going to imagine they got there quicker. They would have probably rode horses instead of camels. The manger would have been all cleaned up. They had a help Mary. They had a prepared lunch, and everything would have been much better, much quicker. If they had sent 3 wise women, and the gifts would have been a whole hell of a lot different. I guarantee you, don't ever let no man or nobody else devalue you ladies as who you are. If you do, it's your fault. It's your fault. Never let nobody steal your identity or your independence. If a man cannot handle your independence, he's just a pussy. Get rid of him. That's my 2 cents. Because I can say that because I got 2 daughters and 3 sisters. And 2 of my sisters married those other guys. I don't know what they are. They're about 1 day away from getting their neck snapped. And I think I would enjoy it. You know, I was only picking. Yeah, I like to laugh. I like to have a lot of fun. I like to joke. But I'm real serious about this independence and where you're going. See, don't make this about you. Make this about your children. Make this about your family. Become the most important person to you. You'll be the most important person to your family. And see, what you're doing, you ladies have talked about your children. Right now, don't allow those children to become your obstacles. Let them be your why. See, you're teaching your kids right now exactly every step that you're taking, that's exactly how they're going to take theirs. If you're going to be lethargic and sit on your ass and complain and whine, that's exactly what they'll do. And then you're going to be mad at them when they're 14, 16, 18 years old because that's the way they are. Why? You're the one that done it. Are you mad at the kids? Bring your little girls up as independent little girls and help them create their own identities through their independence. Little boys, they will. You teach them the same thing. So if you got some little boy that's holding you back, send him back to his mom and tell him, say, this is a learned behavior. Send him back through school. If you don't do that, don't send him back over here because I might just hurt him. You've already hurt his little ego. His lips rolled out. He's stepping on it. He can't get past it because he's self-centered. I'm going to tell you a story, Shelly, and I got to go. I was talking to a group of guys here local in my town, some big realtors. And I said, I went home the other afternoon. My housekeeper wasn't there. My wife wasn't there. I said, I cleaned the whole damn house up. I scrubbed the toilets, done the laundry. I done it all. They said, you're kidding. You do that? I said, you're damn right I did. And they all grinned and said, well, I bet things got real good for you that night, didn't it? I said, they sure did. I said, but you know what I expected by getting all that done? They said, what? I said, nothing. I shower in those showers. I dirty those clothes up, and I dirty them damn dishes out, and I put trash in the trash can. That's being part of the family. It's my obligation to do that when I can cut time out to get it done to help my wife out. She will owe me nothing for that. So the point is, if you live in that house and you think somebody owes you something, you're still just a little boy. And you can't play in my world because I'm not going to let you over here. Realize who you ladies are. Carry your life to the next level. Stop making a bunch of damn excuses for why you are where you are because you already identified what your problems are. Once you've identified your problems, you can create the solution to your own problems. And there's other people out there with the same problems you got. If you create a solution for your problems, guess what's going to happen? You're going to create solutions for their problems, and they're going to follow you. They'll follow you to hell and back with gasoline-filled boots. Because you know what? They trust you, they believe you, and they can see the progression that you're making, that you're not just sitting around hoping it'll happen or wishing it'll happen. You're making it happen. It's the action that creates the impact. You're going to be impacted one way or the other. Why not go out and make it big? Get the next magazine. Get on stage. Let them write. Have them. You at the radio station doing interviews of how you made it happen. There's so many women that need to hear your story right now. They need you. Because my story is fairly good, but your stories are just as good as mine. Because people will relate to you. If we walked in the same hotel or same coliseum and we started speaking, there are people who love mine, but they'll love yours just as good because they relate to you better than they do me. Your story is just as important as mine. Let's go make this thing happen. Any more questions, Shelly?
All I got to say, Russ, is I love you. And I love you guys like family. You are family. And
we are family. We ain't like nothing.
We are family. Yeah. I text Robin while you were talking, and I was telling her how much I appreciate this. And she says, girl, he looks like at you just like a sister. And I said, I know. Right. I just really, really appreciate it. We all needed this, and we all deeply appreciate it. And I have one question. You had mentioned that you do a live every day at 9:30. Is that Eastern or Central?
Yes, Eastern time. I'm in North Carolina.
Okay. And
it's between 9:30 and 9:45. I get my run in. I go by and get my coffee, drink my keto coffee, and I go work out. And I do it between the time for where I run at to where I'm going to my gym to work out.
Okay. Awesome.
I do it every day, and you can go back into my Facebook page and look at months and months and months and months of it. And see, when you get committed to where your passion is and what you love to do, all you want to do is give fresh content to help you through that day. Something to think about that will help add value to you in your day and add value to your children. Because with my charity and my foundation with the sex trafficking of children, all the 100% of my proceeds of the books I write, they go straight to those kids. And y'all might hear about me on Fox News here shortly because I'm into it with North Carolina at the state level, raising hell about harder laws. We're voting sheriffs out. I'm gonna vote some new ones in. I'm putting the money up where the mouth is, and we're gonna knock a dent in it. Because there's no kid in America should be treated to that capacity.
Amen.
I think they need to execute them seriously.
Yep.
I'm pro-life, but if you mess with our kids, I think you got it like a dog with rabies. We need to put you down. That's just my 2 cents and my political views, but that's my human views about, kids don't know any better.
Yeah.
They're at the mercy of us. And if you touch one of our kids, it don't make a damn what your nationality is. It doesn't matter if you're a child. If you touch one of our kids, I don't have any problem pulling the trigger. I just don't. I told the senators over here in Raleigh, I spoke before the council, the House. And I said, I figured out a solution to this problem, this sex trafficking thing we got going, because Charlotte's number 6 in the United States of America. They said, you did? I said, yes, sir. I said, I'll carry it out if y'all fund it. They're doing this. I said, I need 3 tools and I need jurisdiction. He said, okay, what is it? I said, I need a logging chain, a backhoe, and jurisdiction, the courthouse steps. And I need within a 100-mile radius, all the news media mandatory that they watch what happens. They said, you going to rehabilitate them? I said, yes, sir. They said, how are you going to do it? I said, I'm going to have somebody drive the backhoe around. I'm going to take that logging chain and hook it in the teeth of that backhoe, and I'm going to put the rest of it around his neck, and I'll pull the lever and let them hang for 3 days. If you touch one of our children, this is what you're going to get in North Carolina. I said, I guarantee you about a second hanging, you ain't going to find a child predator nowhere.
Yep.
He might be one, but he's not going to touch their children, because for every action is a consequence, even in your business. And so it's just, I love children. I love people. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's no joke. And I'm not saying it just because, no, I truly do. My whole passion in life is what can I do to help mankind get to the next level? What can I do to help you ladies get to the next level? What can I do that you can truly know there's a man in North Carolina? I don't even know much. I know Shelly. She is like my sister. It's no joke. Because you're part of her, you're part of me. And I can honestly say, if you don't feel loved tonight, there's a guy in North Carolina that truly got on here and poured his heart out, and he loves you. That you matter to him and you're valuable. And never allow nobody to steal your value. But go ahead and step your game up. It's time. It's your time to be held accountable and be responsible for where you are, even if it ain't your fault.
I love it.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Rusty, for your time and being real with Rusty, because this is real. And you know what? You're just phenomenal with the words you speak.
Yeah, well, I sure appreciate it, but it's out of heart of love. And what I'll do is, Shelly, we'll talk very soon, but I'm flying in a day early. I think we've already determined, and I'm bringing in these realtor people with me to Florida. I want to go have a private lunch with you guys, if that's okay.
I'd love it.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good evening. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure. It's my pleasure.